Hello, everybody. Happy Monday to you. It is Monday, April 7th, 2025. I hope you are doing well today. If you're not, if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, we're going to get you onto the right side of the bed during Project Joy Live today because I'm going to be joined by my fabulous co-host, Trista Polo. I've got some joy to share with you about our experiences over the weekend, and lots happening. Lots happening. If you need a good laugh, if you need a good time, and if you, of course, need some joy, stick around. We've got an all new episode of Project Joy Live happening right now. Monday morning, everybody. How are you today? I basically sound like I'm going through puberty again, you guys. As we're starting the show today, I laughed so hard last night that I got up this morning and I sound like this. But laughter is so good for the soul. I want to tell you all about it coming up here. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and this is Project Joy Live. It's your triple shot of good vibes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the 9 a.m. Eastern time hour, and hang tight because my fabulous co-host Trista Polo will be here in just a moment. We're going to be diving into the symbolism of spring. We're going to be talking about all of those things, spring-ish, flower-ish, and how it relates to us as mere humans as we are. So listen, let me know where you're joining from today, and of course, what is bringing you joy in your life. I have so much joy to share right now. First of all, I have to give a big shout out to my cousin Jim Spinato. I've talked about him before on this show. He's been on the Breakthrough Show before. He is 75 years old and rocking just living his best life. And I just watched him absolutely in awe. I hope when I'm 75 I'm killing it like he does. But he headlines Comics Mohegan Sun Casino 4 nights a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and does the most hysterical not for children magic show at Comics. And I gotta highlight that, not for children. And I warn people before we go in there, I'm like, have you ever wanted to know what our family funerals are like? This is it. So anyway, I had heard that one of my favorite comedians, Heather Shaw, was going to be at Comics, and so we bought tickets. I jumped on it immediately. I was so excited to get to meet her or see her on stage. And I messaged my cousin and I said, I gotta meet her. And so he's like, well, you want to come up and see the show for the 9 millionth friggin' time and before you go see Heather. And I was like, of course. And of course, when we go in there, he's like, I can't believe you guys are gonna sit through this again. I am such a child inside because I still ooh and ah over every magic trick ever. And I'm easily amused. I don't care. I could watch his show a million times and still go, how is this happening? How is this happening right in front of me? So I love it. We went to go see his show, and then we had a chance before Heather's show to get to meet her in person. And let me tell you a couple things. So one, if you guys are not familiar with Heather Shaw, and I'm trying to share my screen with you guys so you can see the photo that we took. If you're not familiar with Heather Shaw, she's a super hysterical comedian, and she became well known during the pandemic because she had made a post on TikTok about being Jim Carrey's long lost daughter. And she looks a lot like Jim Carrey. And the interesting thing about Heather is that I mean, you see like sort of similarity, but then when during her set, when she starts doing like the little ticks and things that Jim Carrey does, it's uncanny. Like you literally sit there and go, how is this not Jim Carrey in female form? But she's hilarious. And one of the things that I love the most about Heather, and I was just telling Trista this before the show, is that there's no one off limits in her comedy. She lays it all out there, both sides of the political aisle, all sides of sexuality. Everybody gets it from Heather. Okay, like it's so good. And I just love her so much. And the interesting thing is too, she's so sweet and lovely and wonderful. When you meet her, which is a little bit, I feel like, I mean, she's lovely and wonderful in her comedy too, but her comedy is a little more in your face. And I feel like she's just so humble and sweet and wonderful. And so the hug was wonderful. Thank you so much, Heather. And thank you to my cousin Jim for a really great night. It has been sort of a whirlwind for me, as you guys know, the last couple weeks coming off of 90s Con, and I've just been like completely wiped out mentally, physically, all the things. And so it was such a wonderful night. And so thank you so much, Heather, for the laughs. And I laughed so hard that now, I sound lovely today. So let me know what is bringing you guys joy today. I'm going to check in with the comments super quick here. Miss Brittany is here. Happy Monday. Getting stuff done while listening. I'm so glad you're here, Teresa. And of course, Trista's in the back. You know what? We need to just do this. Everybody, Trista Polo is the author of Self-Love Shenanigans. She's a coach. She's my friend. And we always, speaking of laughter, my voice is going to be completely gone in 40 minutes. So let's bring Trista on the show. Here we go. Trista Polo is here. Good morning.
Good morning. Can I just tell you what just happened?
Sure.
Anyone who has seen me in the chat for the Project Joy live episodes when I'm not here, and you say, what are you happy about? What's bringing you joy? And what do I always say?
Your husband makes you breakfast.
My husband makes me breakfast, and I'm eating my breakfast. So he just walked by. I mean, you have introduced me. The music is going. The promo is ending, and he goes by. He's like, "Your breakfast is on the counter."
Now look. Listen, we need to hire this man, because I would like, though I will say this, my oldest daughter Nina is my personal, like, I want to say barista, but she's more than that, because she'll like bring me pancakes in the the show and whatnot too. So I have that. I do have that in Nina, and I'm very thankful for that. She brought me my hot tea so I can sound less pubescent as the episode goes on. Okay, so I want to get to our topic today, but first we have to have our joy versation for the day, and it's going to be fun. All right, so as we're talking about comedy this morning, the question is, who is the funniest person in the world? And obviously this is going to be very opinion oriented, so I would love to hear from you guys out in the audience. Who is the funniest person in the world, in your opinion?
See, what people might not know is when you're on the show, you don't have the two speakers time to think about it, because you're one of them. And I'm right on the spot. I really do love comedy. I'm such an easy laugher.
Me too.
People who are in the comedy space want me in their audience.
Yeah.
And I don't see him anymore, but I'm going to shout out a friend that I used to follow around. It was one of those things where he was just coming up and he needed a certain number of people in his audience in order to go on.
Yeah.
And so we'd be like, yeah, sure, we'll be there. And we saw so much great comedy. He was really funny. And then we got to see Jim Gaffigan and Lewis Black and so many amazing people who would just show up at the last minute because they wanted to try a set out before they went to the Tonight Show.
Love it.
So my friend, I'm going to shout out, is Joe Bronzi. And he does the cruise ship circuit now.
Oh, okay.
And he's very, very funny. And if you ever have a chance to see him, I would go.
Love it. I love it. You know what's interesting? There's a lot of like, I found myself getting more into smaller circuit comedians more recently. And one, I've always been sort of around that with my cousin, you know, he's sort of a local celebrity here. And so I've been sort of around that, but you know how many people, even when it comes to any performances, you know how many people are so good at what they do,
yes.
But so many people, they're just like, they're untapped. Nobody knows about them.
They never went viral.
Right.
And they never got on TV and they've never been in a movie. So you don't know who they are, but they are hilarious. And you're right. There are some amazing comedians that nobody's ever heard of that you're lucky to end up in an audience.
And even still blows my mind about Michelle Ryder, who, you know, is a good friend of the Breakthrough Show Network. She's been on a couple of times. She was on Netflix's The Circle. She has been like touring everywhere. And I meet people all the time that are like, I have no idea who you're talking about. Heather is a little bit different. When I bring up her, they might not know immediately, but as soon as I say she's the comedian that looks like Jim Carrey, they're like, oh, of course I know. Of
course.
You know?
Yeah, I've seen tons of her stuff on TikTok, and she's amazing and hilarious and genuine somehow.
Yes.
It's hard to find a comedian who's genuine. I just want to say that for the record, because even Jerry Seinfeld, you know, if you've ever heard him speak, he'll say that he's funny because he's a curmudgeon. Like, he doesn't really like people. He doesn't like being around.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes him funny, because he's talking about that stuff. You know, they say things that you'd never actually say because you don't want to, you know, say the wrong thing. But it's true. Like, to find a really genuine and nice comedian is, I'm just going to say, it's rare.
I think so too. And somebody who's like super funny and super nice.
Where they're both.
Michelle Ryder, Shelley Belly is one of those people. I can say for a fact, Heather Shaw is one of those people now. Jim Spinato. So my cousin, he is funny. He's very genuine and nicest guy. He'll give you the shirt off his back. But my cousin is also in Spinato family history here, very vocal about how he feels about certain things too. So he's sort of a good mix of the you know, authentic, you know, Jim, and also don't get off his lawn at the same time. Same time. Oh, I love it. Danielle's answer is Robin Williams.
May he rest in peace.
Yes.
That was a loss for sure.
You know what was great? They talked about him a little bit at 90s Con because I went to the panel on Friday for the Lawrence brothers, Joey Lawrence, Matthew Lawrence, and Andrew Lawrence. And by the way, talk about funny. They're funny separately, but they're so funny together. If you've ever watched their podcast,
I've seen them more on TikTok. They're very funny. Yeah.
So funny together. The way that they roll their eyes constantly at each other. If any of you have like that same relationship with your siblings, you will get it when you see them together. But Matthew Lawrence spoke about working with Robin on Mrs. Doubtfire. And it was such a beautiful moment to hear a little bit about that. And there was a lot of that during 90s Con, just sort of honoring the legends in the space that aren't with us anymore. And that was really nice to see that happen. So let us know, who do you think is the funniest person in the world? I think we're pretty friggin' funny, Trista, to be honest with you.
Seriously. You know, I want to say something about that. When I was in high school, I hung around with these two guys. They'd been best friends since basically birth. Yeah. And the three of us spent a lot of time together, and they were both very intelligent and very funny. And they thought I wasn't funny. Yeah. And so I had this complex that I wasn't funny. And then I decided one day, I don't remember when or what happened. I can't give you the specific moment. I think I was in college, but I decided, you know what? As long as I think I'm funny, then I'm funny because I'm making myself laugh. And that's why I'm saying it in the first place, because I think it's funny. And ever since then, I became funny to other people.
Isn't that interesting how that happens? I mean, it's like so much else. You've got to believe it within yourself, or you're not going to come across that way to other people. And this is a really good point. Hi, Mandy, by the way. Good to see you this morning. She said, too, the Wayans brothers. Okay. And then she said Kevin Hart and The Rock together. Now, this is one thing I will say. I could be sort of funny, you know, like I feel like by myself, but when we're able to come together on a show like this and, you know, mesh with each other in that way, I think it's more funny. I don't know. So I love that idea. Brittany said Sam Jackson. He's so multifaceted, Samuel Jackson, right? Like he has those moments where he could be really serious and you know, and then he's like snakes on the plane.
Yeah, that's talent. When you can show up whatever the role requires, you can be it. That's
these are good ones too. Seth Rogen, Vince Vaughn, Theo Vaughn, top 3. Love that.
I mean, I want to do like a 10-way vote, you know, for all of them, because they are all, I like everyone that's been said. And then I said Seinfeld. I said, oh yeah, that's right. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
So there's so many people that bring the joy of laughter into the world.
Yeah. And I agree, Mandy. I think humans in general are pretty ridiculous and fun. I'll just throw that out there. Absolutely. Do with it what you must. But yeah, I love to laugh. And it takes me back to, and in fact, it's in my Facebook and Instagram stories with the picture of Heather. I used the Make 'Em Laugh song from Singing in the Rain.
Another hilarious person. What was his name that did that song?
O'Connor. Hold on.
Yeah, you know who I mean. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. He was Donald O'Connor?
Donald O'Connor. I almost said Daniel, and I knew that wasn't right, so I wasn't going to say it. Donald O'Connor. He was so hilarious. Funny. But I think so. Like, is there something specific that you look for in a comedian? Like, what's really funny to you?
I like when they get into my head. I you know, like they say something that I could never put into words myself. I love that. And I love the way he was able to do physical comedy. I'm not like a huge physical comedy person, but I really loved how he did it. Yeah. And I love when they can open our eyes to things too. But not make it so seriously, because we can still laugh at ourselves. Right. I don't like when they get angry. Like I will tell you, my least favorite type of comedy is the angry woman who's mad at men. That just doesn't appeal to me personally. But I love when they talk about real things, and then we can be light about it, and we can just reveal some things about ourselves inside of what we hear from them. I love that.
Right. Yeah. I think at this point in my life, and I was evaluating this, because I can't just have a good time. I gotta like break through it, you know. So I'm like literally in the car on the way out of the comedy club last night, and I was like evaluating this. I'm like, what is it that I really love in comedians at this point in my life? And I think, like I said before, I love a comedian that is no one's off limits. Like they do not discriminate in their comedy. Like even if they're making fun of even the avatar that they are, like, you know, as a person. And so I love that, because I do think that there's so much value in learning how to laugh at ourselves and in the issues that we have. And because it's not, guys, life is like, it exhausts me thinking about how life, it just is what it is, and you can choose to play in it, or you can go the other direction. And so I think it's important, and it's important to laugh at yourself. Brittany said I crack myself up all the time.
Seriously, I am my own comedian show all the time.
Dry, direct humor, funny without really trying.
Yes.
Yeah, like you're just having a conversation, and it's hilarious. It's just like,
agreed.
I love that. And I also love the ones that, like you said, make you think, or you have a moment where you're uncomfortable for just a minute, and you're like, I don't like that. And then, why don't I like that? But it's really funny.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I love that. I love that. And those are things that any of those people that we've mentioned today do really well. We're going to take a super quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into all the springtime stuff. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Join Live. I'm Jessica Dugas. This is Trista Polo, and we're here today talking about all the springtime stuff. And I also, this was really funny. Mandy said she loves when a comedian talks about kids and family. It makes her laugh. And for a moment, I'm like, oh my God, we aren't the crazies. I love it. The opening comedian actually last night did that. Talked a lot about family and when his wife gave birth, and I was just crying. He was referring to her as wearing a pamper after birth, and I was crying. It was so funny. So funny.
I want to say, I don't think I would want to be married to a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, like kind of everything. I mean, I sort of feel sorry for my family at times because I will talk about especially like on Beyond 2D. I mention my husband a lot, and which I'm sure he loves. And I drag my kids here on Project Joy. But I mean, it's sort of, I feel like there's a balance, and I always try to discuss with them like, hey, this is what I'm gonna, because I think privacy is important to me too, a little bit. And so anyway, it's supposed to be springtime here. It was almost 70 degrees here 2 days ago. And on that day I went into the weather and I looked, and it's going to be 28 on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm in Maryland and it's 45 is the high today. And what's so funny is we're like, oh, what should we talk about? And it's like, oh, spring. And, I have all these flowers that I've planted, and we planted some trees, and it's 70 degrees out. I'm outside with my socks and shoes off in the grass. And then this morning I said, oh, it doesn't feel very springy, but we're going to bring the spring.
We're bringing the spring. So we're going to help you guys out today. Okay. That's what we're going to do. So when you think about spring initially, like, what is that? I mean, the first thing I think of is allergies, so I'm not the one to ask. But when you think about spring, what are some of like the themes that come up for you, like in relating it to your own life?
Yeah. So one of my favorite things to think about lately is a lot of people consider spring the new year.
Yeah.
That it is a time of rebirth. It's a time of new beginnings. It's a time of renewal, of hope. You know, you're finally able to go outside without a coat on. Everybody's excited to be outside. More people are walking down the street. So it's like when we can all come out, the great thaw. And so I like to think of it that way, that it's a new beginning. I mean, I do New Year's words and resolutions and traditions, etc. Absolutely. And this is the time when my soul is having a new year.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. I love that so much because I mean, look, we could have a whole rabbit hole conversation about how the calendar is man-made, blah, 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 blah. But and even, you know, you have to wonder, like, there are different New Year's and different traditions.
Mhm.
And so all of those came from somewhere too.
Yes.
And so I'm always a person that's like, go with when you feel is the new year, you know,
Mhm.
like, but I'm also, I do feel very symbolic, like the new year, the actual calendar new year, in our traditional calendar. I do feel very connected to that. But I mean, to be fair, so much is awakening during this time in
Yeah.
nature. So it makes sense that this feels like a new beginning too. I hear a lot of people say that that January, February, March are just their free trial. Like, just trying it out. We might give it back. Don't know. So I love that too. And you know, I was sharing the other day about the daffodils that my grandmother had planted along the driveway leading up to her house. And you know, we have pretty, I mean, not really harsh compared to certain places, but harder winters here in New England than other places. And I would be like out rolling in the snow and playing around and stomping on the ground and everything else. And every year, without fail, those daffodils would come up, and it was always like, if they can go through a crappy New England winter, then so can I, whenever.
Right. You know? I do. I love the daffodils and the crocus and the tulips, the really early spring flowers, because that, talk about feeling a sense of hope and renewal.
Yeah.
When you still have some ice on the ground, but those crocus, they're coming up. They're popping.
Yep.
So much anticipation and joy in that. Rebirth, for sure.
Yes. And she loves your perspective about the new year as also. So like, it's interesting, like both you and I are in an area where it's trying to be spring, but frankly, it's not trying hard enough. Danielle lives about an hour north of me, and she had sleet this morning.
I'm sorry, Danielle.
So it's just, and Danielle is much less of a winter person than I am, so I really feel for her.
And what's she doing an hour north of you? Danielle, come down.
I know.
Come on down.
Come back, Danielle. But she comes and visits me often. So
that's nice.
I try to bring her back here. But but so it can be hard when like we're maybe physically and mentally ready for spring, but it's not happening yet, actually. Like, how do you connect yourself to that energy when maybe it's not happening around you yet?
Well, I have started to have a lot of plants in my house so that I can really experience growth all year long.
See, my sentence would go a completely different way. I have a lot of plants in my house so I can kill them. That's how
I want to tell you, I used to be a plant killer. I used to describe myself as having a black thumb. And then when my dad passed away, and a group of people I was in an accountability group with, we'd become really close. And they sent me a money tree to honor him. Oh. And I'm going to say I put a little too much of him on that tree, like that he still lives because it does. So I cannot let that tree die. I have to keep it alive. And because of that, I got better at plants because I couldn't allow that tree to not, flourish and thrive. And so I mean, plant people understand this. When you have one plant that's doing well, you just end up with a lot of plants. I don't really know why or how it happens.
It
just
like
does.
rabbits.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I bought every one of them, but we were at Aldi the other day.
She dissociated in the store, everybody.
Yeah. We were at Aldi the other day, and I swear to God, there was this little clump of live plants in Aldi, which is kind of a weird place to find live plants. Yeah. And one of them called out to me like a little puppy in a cage, Trista, trying to get you to take it home. Yeah. Or the cat that is in the kennel and rubbing so that you'll recognize and bring it home. Mm-hmm. This plant called to me. So we brought it home and I put it in the windowsill. I gave it some water, etc. And it's flourishing. It is so happy to be here. And then I found out from some random TikTok video that those are really hard to take care of and they're going to die on everybody that has one.
Oh my God, don't take that in.
And I did not take that in. I said, this plant wanted to be here. It is happy here and it is growing here. It already has new growth. And that was like 3 weeks ago.
I love that. Well, maybe that's what I have to wait for the plant to call to me.
Yeah. So, it can happen if you want it. You got to be willing to let it in though, just like abundance. Yeah.
I do have some Christmas cactus now, which I'm for the same reason you were talking about with your dad. I'm trying so hard because that was my grandmother used to have Christmas cactus in the window in the bedroom that I slept in when I stayed with them. And so and she would always come in the morning and water and prune and do thing to it and all that, And so I'm trying really hard to keep those alive, and I'm trying to like channel my grandmother, but I
love that.
I'm so bad.
I love that.
I don't know what it is. Outside, inside, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And what makes me laugh, do you know the movie with Sandra Bullock, 28 Days, where she like goes through rehab
and with the horse at the end, right?
Yes. Love that movie. But they tell you apparently in recovery, they tell you don't jump into a relationship right away. Like get a plant first, and if you keep that alive, get a pet, and if you keep that alive, then you can have a relationship. If you do well with that, then you can have, like, there's a step. I said F all the steps.
Yeah,
I just went for the kids. I digress. I don't even know what to say. I tried.
I'm not going to say a word. Your kids are amazing, and that's all that matters.
As long as they're alive, we're good. But I do really like this time of year, the feeling of rebirth. And the sort of frustrating thing for me is I'm already a person that has like constant new ideas in my head, new life all the time. And this time of year, it's sort of on steroids. Like it's a lot more, like I don't need help is what I'm saying. So I have to be really intentional this time of year of writing, like when I have an idea, just writing it down and giving myself permission to shelve it for a while, because I already have 9 million things going on.
You haven't started yet.
Right.
Do you get any ideas like where you're waking up and the idea sort of goes from your dream to your waking state and you think that's amazing and you write it down and in the morning it is not amazing? Have you had any of those?
Yes. I'm brilliant in my sleep and when I've had a gummy. So that's when I'm the most brilliant. And so but then when you're not on the gummy and when you're not asleep, it's not as brilliant as
Yeah, I had this amazing idea just a couple days ago, like yesterday or the day before. And I've started this charm side hustle, and I'm posting all the time, and I had this amazing idea. Are you ready? I'm going to share it with you. So when someone purchases a mystery charm scoop, what the idea is that I was going to create by hand little paper clouds with words of affirmation on them. And then I was going to put one charm into each cloud and then tape it up. And then that's going to be the way they receive them in the mail. And so this was my brilliant idea when I was waking up.
Right.
And then I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's so much work. It definitely doesn't scale. It sounds a little too homemade. I mean, what? No. So now
you seriously were going to put every charm in a cloud, like individually?
That's right.
Holy shit.
With the word on it. It has to have a powerful, positive word. Yeah. So I thought, okay, well, now I've told this story so that idea can live on forever on this episode and never be implemented. Ever.
I love that so much because I am also, sometimes the idea is so good, like as an idea.
Brilliant.
Actualized, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of energy. Yeah. That's a lot of stuff that no one needs. So
like talk about waste.
I'm thinking to myself, where would I put all, because see, this is what would happen if I had ordered that from you and been on the receiving end.
Right. Yeah.
I would feel the need as a compulsive hoarder to keep every cloud I ever got. I would have no more room on my cute little bulletin board for anything else other than Trista's cloud.
I know. Talk about not sustainable, not environmentally friendly. Like, how much waste can I include? Right. I know. I don't know where it came from, but boy, it was not a good one.
Yeah. So what if when we finally get this warm weather that inevitably will come, and I'll be complaining about that in the summer, because that's Jessica. I will complain. I complain so much less in the winter. Summer, I would rather just not.
You want to live in San Diego where it's 74 and not humid every day.
Right. So when we eventually get this weather that we're supposed to be getting, what are some of your favorite like nature things to help you feel that like rebirth? Like, do we hug a tree? Do we put our feet on the ground? What do we do?
Well, so for me, I ground as much as possible. I stopped grounding in the winter after I gave myself a little bit of a head injury because I went out in the ice with no shoes on. I'm like, I'm going to ground every day, no matter what. And then I, slipped and fell and hurt my head and probably gave myself a little bit of a concussion. That was
Trista.
So I said, all right, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. That was a lot of years ago. But now, yes, as soon as it is warm enough and there's no snow on the ground, I'm out with my feet bare in the grass. I've started to make friends with the trees in my yard. I realized I had never officially and formally introduced myself. So I've started to get to know them a little bit. There's a ginkgo biloba tree that I can see outside my window. It's not ours, it's our neighbors, but it is majestic. And I love that there's a ginkgo biloba tree in my presence where I live. It is amazing. It has a lot of vine on it, like some kind of vine has taken over the trunk. And we had this conversation the other day, and I asked the ginkgo biloba tree about the vine, and it's really just it's discomfort. It's pain. It's like this burden it has to carry. And I said, well, I don't have the authority to remove it. And it said, well, I'm just living with it. I know it will never be removed, and I'm just living with it. And I thought that is an amazing conversation to have with a tree. Whereas before I said, I don't talk to anyone but humans and myself mostly, but I opened myself up to the other entities in the world. And I get to have these amazing connections in nature now. And I don't know where that's not what you asked, but there it went.
No, the reason why this is so good right now, because even that message from the tree, I think is so important. When I shared about going to 90s Con, and I shared a little bit on Friday with Danielle on the show and my girls about how some of it was a lot for me. I don't do well in huge crowds. And the fact of the matter is that on Saturday, I actually had a whole panic attack there. Wow. Like I had to go find a chair, and my husband luckily I feel so fortunate that I have done a lot of work to have a lot of tools to work through that when if it happens.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot. It was a lot for me. And someone that I knew from a while back from a neuro brain thing that I was a part of for long COVID, she had messaged me and she said, "Oh my God, you're like, you just look like you're living your best life. You know, I'm so glad your symptoms have all gone away. So glad you're not dealing with that anymore." And I said, I love you so much and thank you for that. But I want to let you know that I made a decision at some point to, regardless of whatever it is I'm experiencing, that I'm going to live with joy. I'm not going to wait to not have symptoms, to not ever be anxious, for a space of perfection in order to enjoy my life. Yeah. So what you're witnessing on my social media is me enjoying my life. Yeah. It's not a place of perfection. It's not a place of I don't have that vine attached to me anymore. You know what I mean? Like I just made a decision. And that's what you're witnessing. You're witnessing my decision, my choice that I've made in my life. And that's it. And she was just kind of like, oh, okay. And so I just always feel like I want to be clear about that, but I feel the same as the tree, where it's just like this, I'm still going to live.
Yeah.
I'm still going to live. So it's a great message. That's why you said it.
It is a great message. And what you just shared is a great message for me, because, you know, I've talked about my accident a little bit here, but as I get better, I can do more, but I'm not 100%.
Right.
And there's a cost to doing more. And I think you kind of know what that's like as well.
Yep.
But when people see me doing more, they associate that 1% with 100% of my experience.
Right.
Which I think is what you're saying.
Right.
And they make assumptions. And I get it. You know, you can't imagine any more than you're seeing. You take everything at face value. You don't see the person a lot. But what you just said is such a powerful message and a way to respond, where it honors your experience and it honors them as well. And now they know what's going on.
Right.
Without having to go into a lot of detail. So you just made a huge, huge difference for me by sharing that. So thank you.
You know, I've had to say that to myself a lot. Like, just like, you've made this choice and it's okay. And to relate this back to, you know, the blooming and the flowers and the springtime, you know, not that they, you know, we don't know, but I'm going to go with, they probably don't have the consciousness to know that there's going to be another winter coming. I don't know, in their own consciousness, but that's another show, people. This is just what goes on in my brain. Okay.
Yeah. Talk to the plants.
My point is that, even if they knew that, like, the winter's going to come again, they don't just go, well, I'm just not going to bloom because I know the winter's coming.
Yeah.
Right. No plant says that. They just, it's happened. And so that's something that I remind myself often, especially this time of year when we've got these allergies popping up and we're busy and all of these ideas, my brain's going 800 miles an hour. It's kind of like, it's just a season. It's just a season. You can give it what kind of weight you want, but it's just a season.
Yes, I have something on my desk that I keep nearby. Every storm runs out of rain. And that is for today. It's raining. So it's a good reminder, but it's exactly what you're saying. It's just a season, and this too shall pass, as my mother always used to say.
I love it. I love it. Well, you know what, Trista? I never liked the rain till I walked through it with you. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite little lines. So I think it matters to who you
walk
for yourself. Yes, you can plant for yourself a beautiful garden of all those people that you love to dance in the rain with and play in the rain with, and that's the way to do it. Intentional creation. And there's a story about 2 cute little koala bears. That's coming out very soon, that talks about that intentional friendship, intentional community building. And so definitely check that out. Yes, I wrote this story.
You did?
It's me.
It's you. I knew that. I was just looking for you to say it out loud.
It's my book. There Will Be Hugs, illustrated by the fabulous another Project Joy Lab co-host Brittany Floyd. She made the cute little koalas, Kip and Cora.
Very cute.
Kip and Cora are their name. Very cute. Make sure you guys check that out at thefriendshipparadox.com, because you can make a beautiful garden of springtime flowers and enjoy the rain, enjoy the allergies, all the fun stuff. We're going to take one more super quick break, and when we come back, we've got birthdays to do, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Project Joy Live. Make sure you visit our community at thebreakthroughshownetwork.club. You can also find it if you type in the .com. You don't have to go try to do it again. Just scroll down a little bit and you'll see where the community access is in the middle of the breakthroughshownetwork.com as well.
Can I give a quick shout out to that?
Yeah. Yep.
I now have a virtual office, and I have my meetings there, like with coaching clients and stuff, instead of on Zoom. And they don't all, not all of them care that it's in this cool virtual office, but do you know how good I feel when I'm in this office that was created, especially with my vision, having a coaching call, and I can be better for them because I'm in my own space and it reflects me inside. It's amazing. So huge shout out. I know you have vacancies available. Yes. So I just wanted to say that it has made such a difference for me.
I'm so glad. And I think so too. And it's one of those things where, you can have this space and it can mean nothing. But you have to get in there and use it. And I really feel like when we do the job of making our office spaces match our personalities and what we love, then it does make that kind of experience. I'm often working in my office, my virtual office alone, just to be in that space because something triggers in my brain to go, hey, you're at work right now.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. And I'm always adding things, by the way, while we're on this topic. You have to visit Trista's lobby because it's a magical little fairyland. And so you have to go visit that. But I'm always adding little tweaks to my office because I like to add things that are similar to what I have in my real office. And so like the plaque that I have on the wall up here is also on my office wall.
Nice.
I've talked about so many times, though, a bulletin board that I have of all the things I love in my office. Now, I probably could if I spent way too much time down the rabbit hole, make it look exactly like this, but I didn't want to, but I wanted to bring that corkboard vibe to my office. So I just put, if you go to Jessica Dugas's office in the virtual community, there's a brand new bulletin board on my office in there with all the pictures from 90s Con. Like it's just
cool.
Like it's so cute. So you guys got to go check that out as well. But visit the breakthroughshownetwork.club because it's fun and it's a great place. It's time to do birthdays. You ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Happy birthday to you.
All right. In the world of celebrity today, Jackie Chan, another very funny person, is 71 years old today. Jackie Chan is.
Wow.
Jackie Chan. Russell Crowe, a great actor, 61 years old today. Happy birthday, Russell Crowe. And an incredible singer. I mean, just she's on my list of greatest of all time. She passed away in 1959. Billie Holiday had a birthday.
I love her.
Today. Love some Billie Holiday. Oh my word. And then I don't have, let's see, today, yesterday was Shanna Lee Moore's birthday. So happy birthday, Shanna. Do you have any birthdays you have to celebrate today?
Well, I want to give a shout out to my mother, whose birthday is on the 11th, which is just moments from today. So her name is Shelly. So I want to add her to the list.
All right. Happy birthday, Mama Shelly. Yes. All right. Let's get our birthday song on. Here we go. I gotta take extra effort. Hold on. Let me prepare.
We have a lot of vines on us today. A lot of vines.
All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday,
dear Jackie Chan, Russell Crowe, Billie Holiday, Shanna Lee Moore, and Mama Shelly. Happy birthday to you.
I hope they loved our song.
It brings me, listen, there's so much that I sound a little narcissistic that my own show brings me as much joy as it does. This is the greatest show on the planet.
You're expressing your joy outwardly and it's on a loop coming back to you.
That's what it is. I appreciate that. Listen, coming up on the Breakthrough Show Network this week, let me see what's happening here. Hold on. Let me get the bifocals focaling. Okay. We have community meditation today at 10:30 a.m. led by the fabulous Brittany Floyd. She's leading meditation today, 10:30 a.m. in our meditation room in the virtual community. We have co-working this afternoon at 12:55 p.m. Tomorrow we're starting our new series on Beyond 2D at 6 p.m. We're going to have 4 episodes, and this ties into beautifully what we talked about today.
Great.
4 episodes about choices versus decisions. It's going to be a good one. So you don't want to miss that. That's happening on Tuesday at 6 p.m. We have poetry reading coming up 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday with Kat Stomska. I am going to be on a special panel talk on LinkedIn, which I'll give you more info about on Wednesday, but it's going to be on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And it's about finding your ikigai, if you guys know anything about that, which is a Japanese method of finding your purpose. Tune in for that. That's going to be a good conversation with Richard Lowenthal, that is our creator of Go Brunch, which is the software we use in our community.
Nice.
What else do we have going on? We have coffee as usual on Saturday. We always have stuff going on. Just go to thebreakthroughshow.com and look at the calendar, because it's all there in not black and white. I think it's actually purple, but whatever. Anything you have going on, Miss Trista?
I don't know if you can see my background, but I've been doing a lot of content, including one charm pulls, intuition charm challenges. And I just reached 100 people following on TikTok, which is a pretty big deal, especially since I've been removing all the bots and stuff. And so I'm going to be doing some special readings for people that participated in a celebration on that. And so lots of fun creator stuff happening.
Yay. Yeah. I love it. And where can they can go to your website for the charms at?
DestinyCharmDivination.com.
There it is. DestinyCharmDivination.com. Go do it. Get yourself. You're not going to get them in little clouds. You're not.
No. Not. Minus the clouds. That cloud thing was just for all of you. It will never exist except in this moment.
So basically, you can imagine that they all come in their own little happy cloud, like Bob Ross.
Oh my God. Exactly.
All right, you guys. We encourage you. Listen. lean into this springtime, this blooming, this time of creation, of watching things come to life. It's a beautiful energy to be in. And as usual, I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. This is Trista Polo, and we want to tell you that you are the joy. Okay, you just are. Period. End of story. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.